We Wear the Mask, presented by Dia K, Bella H, Bella G, Allison D, and Coda A. Context: We Wear the Mask was written in 1895, around the time when official segregation started. The poem is based on the pain of slavery and the image that America portrayed itself to be. The author, Paul Laurence Dunbar, was one of the biggest Black influencers in the writing circle. He wrote for plays, operas, and Broadway. He wrote short stories and poems that included the African American experience. We Wear the Mask by Paul Laurence Dunbar. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouths with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but, O great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but of the clay's vial, beneath our feet and the long mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask.
We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. The use of the ambiguous we is important to note. Unless you are given the context or know the poet, it may be difficult to connect this poem to race. The beautiful thing about the ambiguous use of we is that it's open to interpretation, allowing the reader to make the poem their own. They can decide how to interpret we. Is we a shared racial group, a shared gender group, society as a whole, or anything else? The correct answer is never explicitly stated. The speaker intentionally does this to relate to the reader, and this causes the reader to feel a sense of connection or unity. Additionally, in the first line, the speaker is implying that grinning or being perceived as happy is a lie and not how the unnamed we feels.
The second line's descriptions add to the imagery. The speaker could have said it hides our cheeks and hides our eyes, but specifically uses the word shades. This implies a physical change in eye color. The people's eyes are no longer bright and happy, but rather dim and not full of life. The end dash at the end of line 2 informs the reader that the next line is important and draws their attention there.
This debt we pay to human guile, with torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouths with myriad subtleties. The speaker deliberately uses the word human to emphasize the fact that being cunning is something that humans do. Animals don't hide their true emotions and true intentions, but human society is built on lies. If humanity was incapable of being sly, masks would not work. Perhaps the speaker is grateful yet angry about human guile. The word torn is used both in the emotional and physical sense. The speaker is torn because on the one hand, they want their emotions to remain hidden, but on the other hand, they want someone to see the truth. The indecisiveness is killing them, hence why their heart is bleeding. The speaker is mouthing how they truly feel, but it's pointless because their mouth is hidden behind the mask. It doesn't matter how subtle they are, no one will notice. The imagery of a broken, bleeding heart and a moving mouth allows the reader to picture the emotional turmoil that has taken place.
Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? The rhetorical question in this line heavily adds to the tense mood that has already been established. The speaker seems almost annoyed and disgusted about the world being overwise. The world does not need to know other people's sorrows, and the speaker reinforces that point to the reader. The speaker is very curt and blunt when getting this across. The speaker has made up their opinion and is passionate about it.
The word counting implies that people's problems and worries are quantifiable and can be judged. Additionally, the word tears and sighs build on the tense mood. These words also create imagery for the reader. The reader can easily visualize the tears and hear the sighs of the speaker. Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. The starting word nay creates a negative and sharp tone immediately that is seen throughout the entire poem. There is such an emphasis on not letting the world see who they are and their internal struggles. They are trying to protect themselves in this way. If the world sees their struggles, that is just another reason to hate them and view them as weaker. The world will only see people in a fake light that is entirely what they want and expect of them.
Additionally, the stanza ends on, "We wear the mask," which is the poem's title, and the second time the phrase is repeated. It reinforces and emphasizes the idea of hiding one's true emotion, and being forced to appear happier or picture perfect by society's standards.
We smile, but O great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. The line starts with "we smile," but it ends with "our cries." The juxtaposition of an action associated with joy versus one associated with sadness continues to elaborate on the theme of the mask, a mask of joy worn to conceal true emotions, which are often negative. The speaker addresses Christ in this line as if only a higher power can hear how they truly feel, because they cannot tell those who know them for the mask that they wear. This need to consult a higher power shows how much the mask restricts a person, how the expectations of society prevent them from bearing their true emotions around each other and leaves them with only their beliefs to confide in. The separation of "our cries" and "from tortured souls arise" creates in the mind of the reader that the cries have manifested into tortured souls themselves. Their cries hold so much unsettled emotion that they have become their own entities that can rise up to Christ. Lastly, their souls are tortured, but they continue to smile. That is the mask. No matter how much pain someone is in, they are forced to wear a smile. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile, beneath our feet and long the mile. This line once again starts with a positive, we sing, and then it quickly shifts to a negative, saying that the clay is vile. The foundation upon which they sing and show this joy is rotten. They wear the mask, but everything beneath that mask is despicable and despair-filled. The following line, "beneath our feet and long the mile," tells the reader that this is something that runs so deep that it will remain forever. This shows how pain and negative emotions can run deep and lasting. So even if they sing or wear a mask of joy, that will change nothing. Eventually, the vile clay beneath their feet will crack and fall apart, and no longer can they sing. Additionally, the speaker says, "But oh, the clay is vile," and in the earlier line says, "But oh, great Christ." Structuring the lines in this way helps to convey the tone to the reader. Inserting "oh" after "but" in this parallel structure creates the sound of someone lamenting their pains and losses. They smile, but oh, the pain they feel. They sing, but oh, the despair. The speaker is telling the reader of the pain they hide beneath their mask, because who else can they tell?
But let the world dream otherwise.
We wear the mask.
Let the world dream otherwise indicates that they are trying to deceive outsiders, not the people closest to them. The reader has to ask themselves, why is the speaker, or we, trying to deceive the world? Why exactly do they need to hide their feelings? Diction is also important in these lines. Notice how they wear the mask. Wearing this mask and hiding their emotions is as natural as wearing clothes. It's something they do daily. It's something intuitive to them. Also, it doesn't say we wear masks. It says we wear the mask. This shows that everyone is wearing the same mask, one that hides negative emotions such as pain, sadness, anger, etc. The mask they all wear is one that portrays happiness. The exclamation point at the end of the line affects the reader. It gives off a jovial tone, but this is part of the facade. It's another trick. The speaker goes back and forth about their feelings, but they don't have any growth throughout the poem. There is no change. Even at the end of the poem, the speaker is not being entirely honest about their feelings. The reader might then question what the theme of the poem is. The point could be to warn the reader that they should not wear a mask because of the danger. Wearing a mask harms the self most. The speaker might be hoping for a world where we don't have to hide our emotions, a world where we can be our full, honest selves, a world without masks.
We are all born naked and unafraid to cry, our innocence not yet tainted, blind to any judgmental eye. Dearest emotions, why do we force you to hide, when the sky never fears to show its darkest side? Clenching fists, furrowed brows, misty eyes, all telltale signs, meant to be noticed by someone in whom you can confide. Being troubled should not cause trouble. Silence chokes your struggles. A mask will last only for so long before it cracks. To whom does it belong? Not the person born naked and unafraid to cry. The mask killed them.
The theme of our poem is that people shouldn't have to wear masks. Having negative emotions is a natural part of life, and we shouldn't feel the need to hide that. If we were meant to hide our emotions, we wouldn't have the ability to change our facial expressions. However, we are able to express ourselves or show signs of how we're feeling, and it's all for a reason. Good and bad energy should be released, not trapped inside. The last stanza is about how wearing a mask can either permanently change a person's personality and or mental state or lead to their death, because suffering in silence can eventually lead to suicide. The speaker is warning society to not hide their emotions and wants the reader to know that it is okay to feel any and all emotions.